There's my baby.
I'm Dana Denha.
And I am Melissa Bondi, and this is Adventures in Parenthood, where we take a ride on the roller coaster we call parenting.
Teaching your kids when they are young to give back to the community by volunteering with nonprofits and helping those in need will create a more aware and caring adult. Melissa, has Bryn been a part of any organization that gives back?
So we have started with the Daisies last year. Actually, no, I think it was, last year. So this would be the second year. So, I mean, and that's where we got the start, right? That's kind of the foundation is, building relationships, partnerships, friendships, as well as the volunteering aspect of it, right? The fundraising, the learning to like sell, so to speak, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I guess we would call it fundraising. But just learning to be out there and it can be intimidating for a 6 or 7 year old, right?
Yeah, I will say Kiki's a Daisy. I think Bryn's now a Brownie, right? She's a
Now,
Brownie now.
yeah.
Yeah. So Kiki's a Daisy. She's been a Daisy. This is her second year too. So she started in kindergarten and then
Mhm.
it's new to me because I never did Girl Scouts as a child. So it's actually interesting because I think that part of learning how to give back to the community is by watching your parents do it, because that's how I feel personally about Girl Scouts, is that it's sort of when they're really young, it's on our shoulders as the parent to make money with the cookies, raise money and fundraise
Mhm.
and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
the volunteering aspect is more on their shoulders, where they're going to go to an organization, help out, maybe clean up a playground or do stuff like that. That is all on them. But the beginning of being a Daisy, when you're that young, they can't go sell cookies by themselves. They can't deliver them alone. It's really on you. But I think that that's how people learn how to be a well-rounded adult, is by watching your parents do stuff like that. And they're
True.
like, oh, my mom did this when I was young, and now I'll do it as I get older because I can do it now. I can go door to door. I can deliver the cookies.
Yeah, I can remember things when I was a child, the volunteering aspects that I think my mom did that I still remember. I still remember it as an adult. I can remember when I was her, Bryn's age. And those things will stick with you, that you'll remember it. It'll be long lasting in my opinion. So,
Honestly, it can be something as simple as, because I remember this a lot from being a kid, is like if your mom or dad would even just go on a field trip with you. So you're helping out the
mhm,
teacher by being a parent on a field trip. And
right.
anytime my mom went with me on a field trip, I remember it because it meant so much to me. And so now I try as a mother myself to be the mom that goes on field trips as much as I can, because I do think that makes an impact. And it is volunteering. You're volunteering to help the school.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of volunteering, we actually are here to talk about an organization on the University of Michigan campus that does a lot of volunteering and they help a lot of people. Dance Marathon at the University of Michigan, or DMUM, raises funds and awareness for pediatric therapies at CS Mont Children's Hospital. This is the largest run student org at the university, and across the board, members agree that this experience enriches their college years. Joining us is Brayden Moore, Public Relations Chair for DMUM. Welcome to the show, Brayden.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So, Brayden, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in being in DMUM at the university? Because it's not, I mean, I don't think everyone does it, but it is a lot of kids. A lot of college kids are doing it.
Yes, a lot of people have the shared involvement where we have festival at the beginning of the year, and a lot of students just get to see the big presence that DMUM has on campus, because we have like the DMUM letters and everybody's just like super excited. But my personal involvement, I was actually introduced to DMUM by a friend. She was in the Emerging Leaders program, and I just saw all the amazing things that they got to do, and she would tell me about it all the time, and I was super excited to join. I'm pursuing a career in medicine, and so all the things that DMUM does with the children at CS Mott Children's Hospital is amazing and something I'm very interested in. And so I decided to apply to the Emerging Leaders Program last year, and I got decided to become even more involved this year because I loved it so much as a public relations chair.
What year are you in at the university?
I'm a junior.
Okay, so we might see you again as a public relations chair next year too, hopefully.
Yes, I'm definitely interested in getting even more involved next year.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what DMUM is and how it started?
Yeah, so DMUM is a student-run nonprofit organization at the University of Michigan. We raise funds and awareness for pediatric therapies at the University of Michigan's CS Mott Children's Hospital. Dance Marathon is a national organization, and so there are dance marathons across the country. And the founders of DMUM were specifically very interested in the way that all the positive impacts that dance marathons make across the country. And so they decided to spread this impact on University of Michigan's campus.
Brayden, tell us about the students involved. If I'm a student, do I have to have a dance background? And is this fully dance? So what exactly are the participants doing?
Yeah, so the name of Dance Marathon is slightly misleading. There's no dancing required to be on Dance
Okay.
Marathon. We do actually get that question a lot. But the name Dance Marathon actually comes from Victorthon. So the marathon part is standing for 24 hours, and then the dance part is line dance. And so at the top of every hour for the 24 hours, we have the line dancers teach a specific portion of a dance. And it's just great because we get to dance with the little victors, and it's a great way to interact with them and a great way to keep up our motivation through the event.
Yeah, I feel like the name can be a deterrent for some people because like, oh, I don't like to
Right.
dance, but you really don't have to be able to dance. And I feel like personally, like, don't worry, dance like no one's watching kind of thing when you are doing the Victorthon and stuff where you're standing up and doing the marathon.
Exactly. And it's such a safe environment, and it's at the very especially at the very late hours, you're kind of just dancing like nobody's watching and you're really just having a good time.
I don't know how you guys just don't tip over by the end of it.
Like, what's the duration typically? Is it 24 hours? Did you say that? I'm sorry. What's of the marathons? What's the duration?
Yeah, so it goes from 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's a full 24 hours, and you can stay for however long you want. The Little Victors will usually stop in during the theme hours, which are times that they can play specific games or do specific activities. And then the members of leadership are the ones who are mainly staying for 24 hours.
So who are the participants? I mean, you're going into the medicine field. Who are the students? Where are they coming from? Like, do you have a common background, or is it everyone is welcome?
Everybody is welcome. We love to see anybody and everybody there. Last year, there were a lot of people who were just inviting their friends to just get more motivation, and it's also fun. There's a lot of stuff to do. We had silent disco, and so that's where you're wearing headphones and everybody has the same music playing throughout, but it's completely silent in the room. So there's a lot of fun activities for anybody who wants to come. There's parents that come, the families, and anybody's friends. It's just a whole wide campus-wide organization. So
Those silent discos are hot right now. I've seen them downtown Ann Arbor too. It's funny because there'll be like events in the downtown and you'll see people dancing in the streets, but they have headphones on so you can't hear anything, but it's pretty cool.
I've never seen that. I need to look that up because that seems like a sight to be seen, like very intriguing.
Brayden, do you you mentioned that there's like this recruiting sort of festival at the beginning of the year. Do you have to join at the beginning of the year or could you hop in later?
you can join as a general dancer pretty much any time of the year. Mainly if you join at festival, you just get to interact with all of the events, and there's a lot of events in the beginning of the year that entertain and interest a lot of people, but you can join anytime.
Good to know, because I think sometimes people, especially when you're like starting out in college or freshman, and you're like, oh, I didn't join this quick enough. Where
Mm,
Dance Marathon's pretty open to allowing you to hop in sometime in the year. Maybe you weren't ready at the beginning of the school year.
exactly. Last year, there were a lot of students who joined second semester, and you get placed as a general dancer, you get placed into different teams. And so within those teams, you're just kind of like pushed into like a good community. And so even if you don't know anybody, you're bound to meet some people that you really enjoy spending time with.
Well, we're going to take a short break from our chat and hear some words of wisdom from our local sensei as we kick it with Keith Hafner.
Hey everybody, I'm Keith Hafner. I'm the owner of Keith Hafner's Karate on Main Street in downtown Ann Arbor. I've worked with 25,000 kids over the last 40 years, and over that time we've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work with kids. In fact, I compiled that information into a book that I wrote called How to Build Rock Solid Kids. We're going to be talking about the 10 commandments of parenting. And the first commandment, I think, is really the cornerstone for everything we teach. And if you get this principle, I think you'll really understand everything about what it takes to develop healthy, happy, confident kids. Here it is. You can't not teach. Let me say that again, because you might not get it. You can't not teach. Everything you do with your kids teaches them something. Now, it might not be what you hope to teach. And in fact, in many cases, it sometimes turns out to be opposite of what you've hoped to teach. But everything you do teaches kids something. Remember, they're like sponges. And the younger they are, the more sponge-like they are, they pick up everything. They're watching all the time. They're learning way more from what they observe you doing than from what they hear you saying. So parenting tip number 1 is you can't not teach. Keith Hafner, we'll see you again next time.
Hi, everyone. We're back here on Adventures in Parenthood, and we're talking with Brayden Moore. Brayden, so tell us, there's more than just the Victors, Little Victors. So what are some of the, give us a rundown of the calendar of events, if you will, in a school year of what happens and what other events there are that that people can take place in.
Yeah, DMUM has a wide variety of events. This past month in September, we had Victor Palooza, so that was mainly a recruitment event. We had Silent Disco there. Coming up in this next month, October, we have Spookathon, which is one of my favorites. Spookathon is where the little Victors and their families can come and they can trick or treat, and they come up with some of the best costumes I have ever seen. They are so creative. We also have PJ Party, which takes place in second semester in the winter. And that's more of a like winding down event where people can get comfy cozy and they can wear their pajamas and play some fun winter themed activities. And ultimately, Victorthon is our culminating event for the 24 hours of standing.
One of the things I've worked with DMUM throughout the years, and one of the things I just love about it is I think when you're a college student, you can really get wrapped up in your own life and sort of just have blinders on to what, because being in college is hard. You're studying, you have to go to class, you're working sometimes. It's just a lot on your plate. But when you're a part of DMUM, you're thinking of other families and being you're almost like a pseudo member of that family. Talk about your relationship with the little Victors and how that is just like probably the most rewarding part of being in DMUM.
I totally agree with what you're saying. It's very easy to get trapped in the college world. And so DMUM is a great place to just take you out of that world and get to know other people. One of the events that we have also is called Victor's Voices. And so within this, we get to hear back from a lot of the families, and they tell us the impact that DMUM has made on them and their experience leading up to this point. We also get to interact a lot with the therapies. So we have therapies ranging from creative coping to adaptive tree climbing. And that's a great opportunity for the volunteers and the dancers to get more involved and build long-term relationships with these little Victors.
Are you assigned a family that you work with throughout the year, or it's just like spread out across the board with the different people that are involved?
Yeah, it depends on your commitment level, I believe, because if you are a general dancer, you usually get paired up with a family. And if you are just volunteering, then you won't be as involved with the specific family groups.
Brayden, were you involved since your freshman year here with DMUM?
I got involved my sophomore year as an emerging leader.
Do you see some of the same kids probably the last 2 years? Have you seen the same families? Kind of what we were talking about, or what Dane had mentioned.
Yes, we have a lot of returning families, which is super exciting.
Are they necessarily kids too, or are they special needs adults sometimes?
We see a very wide range from very small children to people who are more on the adult side.
Do you have any, specific thing that's happened to you that you found to be one of the best things that's happened since you've joined DMUM?
That's a really good question. I think one of my favorite things is interacting with the families, specifically Tommy Deer's family. They're a great set of people, and I love hearing their story. They've come for a lot of events. They were at Victorthon last year, and I believe they were at Victor's Voices last year as well. And they're just so inspirational and great people to talk to.
Brayden, I guess I'd want to know. I mean, this has been a very interesting interview, and I know why people should support the organization, but how and why do you really think people should support? What would be your pitch?
Yes, I highly recommend specifically students to join DMUM. This campus can seem really big and daunting at times, but DMUM is a great place of fostering a community, and they can make this campus feel a little bit smaller and introduce you to a lot of different people and a lot of different leadership opportunities. We have things from finance to marketing to event management, so anything that can pique your interest, we have here at DMUM. And anybody who's interested in registering can go to dmum.org. And you can sign up as a assorted dancer, an emerging leader, or you can also sign up your organization as a team if you're in a student organization or you're in a sorority or a fraternity. And anybody else who would like to just support the message, you can follow our Instagram at DMUM. It's a great place to just get notified of all the events that are happening, and sharing is just a great way to spread awareness.
One of the things you just mentioned, which I think is really important for the college experience, is that you get to know people that aren't necessarily, your major, your sorority. Because I do think, especially like when I look at U of M's campus, like the engineers are over on this part of the town, and then, you're over here. And so you really sort of get locked into whatever your major is, or like your fraternity or sorority. But if you join a group like DMUM, which has so many students in it, you're really expanding who you get to know in college.
Exactly. We have students in business, students in engineering, students in nursing. There's a whole wide variety.
And I think it's also important to note that you're doing this for charity. And I think that this probably comes with you when you leave college, that you still want to be a part of charitable organizations.
I totally agree. It's a great way to just interact with other people. Even though everybody has a very diverse background, we're all coming together with the shared idea of helping these little victors and just raising funds and awareness.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you choose what therapies that you guys get involved in when you're raising money?
Yeah, we have a list of therapies on our website, and anybody can go and sign up for those. There's a wide variety. There's adaptive tree climbing, creative coping, and there's just a lot of, and I believe there's also martial arts. And so there's a lot of different things that you can sign up for with whatever interest you have.
All right, well, we're going to be back in exactly 60 seconds with more on Dance Marathon at the University of Michigan.
Hi, we're back here on Adventures in Parenthood. I am Melissa Bondi, and we're talking with Brayden Moore. So, Brayden, I need to know more about this Victorthon. So, I'm not as familiar with it as Dana is. So tell me more about it. And it's your biggest fundraiser. Um, I guess fill me in. I don't know anything about it, let's just say. So, what would you tell me as someone who's inquiring?
Yeah, Victorthon is the marathon part of Dance Marathon. So it is a great way to give back to the community and just get more involved on the University of Michigan campus. Together with the support of the Little Victors, we stand for 24 hours to celebrate all the hard work that has gone in and has led up to that point. And there's also a lot of fundraising that goes in on that day. Some of my favorite things from the event last year were the carnival theme hour, which involved a lot of fun, like face painting. And we also had Miss Michigan come, which was super exciting. And we also had Pie of Victor at the later hours. So that involves the dancers. They had people fundraise to their accounts. And if you had money in your fundraising account, then you got to get pied. So that was super fun. But it's super rewarding and exciting to see the number revealed at the end of the day of how much money we have made for that year.
I mean, it almost brings a tear to your eye to see it, honestly, because it's really a big deal and it's a lot of money. You guys raise a lot of money at Victorthon. How do you go about raising the money? Do you contact organizations? Are you asking families? How does that work?
Yes, we have a lot of great sponsors who do donate money. And along with that, we all the students and dancers do fundraising on their own account too. And so one of the ways you can, if you are hoping to donate, you can visit Dance Marathon at the University of Michigan Donor Drive. And you can locate that on the donate tab on DMUM.org to make a tax-deductible donation. Other ways that dancers get involved with fundraising is bucketing. And so we'll go around to tailgating events before games, and we will just ask if people would like to donate to help the cause.
Smart. Get people while they're a little tipsy.
And in good moods, right? And they're pumped with the football games, right? Do you find that administration or professors get involved, or is it more students?
I definitely have seen a lot of professors who know what the organization is and who are super passionate about it. I would like to see more of them at events. So maybe that's something that I'm going to work on this year of just getting, more of a wide range of people at these events.
Are there criteria for families to be little victors? Do they have to have certain criteria?
People who have been patients at University of Michigan C.S. Mott Children's Hospital are welcome to go to the family registration tab on DMUM.org's website. And by doing that, you'll get signed up for the family relations newsletter.
I will say, based on what I've seen and experienced myself, watching the little victors is so just like amazing. It's just like an amazing thing to see because it's not just the patients, it's the families. It really makes a difference in these people's lives, a huge difference.
I agree. All the families are so inspirational and they're so kind and generous, and it's amazing to see all of them.
Well, we're almost out of time, but we were talking about raising money for Victorthon. You guys raise money throughout the year. When people are, picking that organization to donate money to, why should they think about DMUM?
I believe that they should think about DMUM because of everything that we do, and specifically with our connection to University of Michigan C.S. Mott Children's Hospital. It's right here in Ann Arbor, and so you know where the funds are going. You know exactly what we're fundraising for, and it's just a great opportunity, especially because you can directly see the effects that it has on the little victors through all the therapies and through, even if you're just looking through our Instagram and everything, you can just see that positive effect firsthand.
And, CS Mott is more than just for people that live in Ann Arbor. People come from all over Michigan and even probably further to take advantage of our children's hospital.
Totally.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Brayden, for coming on the show and talking about DMUM.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I've loved talking to you guys.
If you have an idea for a parenting show topic or guest, talk to us on social media at #CTN Ann Arbor.
And for more on our programming and services, visit a2gov.org/CTN and visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to watch a full lineup. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for joining us on this adventure in parenthood.